Good morning, Pitmaker friends. I don't know what that is. It's not snowing out here. It's a little windy. Got some nice clear smoke coming out to the Pitmaker. So this video, I've got one other video. 202, you say, what's going on? I'll tell you in a second. So I got one other video that I did several years ago, just kind of a Pitmaker video. It got a ton of views. I think it's got like 15,000 views or something like that. So there are not a lot of, there's people making stuff on Pitmaker safes and vaults, but not a lot of people that are kind of talking about their configurations and stuff. And so this has nothing to do with cooking. I actually have a brisket, a Wagyu brisket that I picked up from Costco. Actually, they had Wagyu here. But this is really more about how I got the fire set up. And so, you can see my configuration here, mostly open. In my Pitmaker safe, I've got this guy over here, which I have closed. And then, of course, I have my fan hooked up over here. I have my thermometer in the front. Doesn't work well. It's about 80 degrees off, so I've just kind of figured that out, and I go with it. But then again, if I come back over here, you can see I've got my CyberQ. It's set at 204, and it's been swimming along, but what you can't really barely see, and it's going to fog up on me, maybe you can kind of see it there for a second. It's about 225 up here at the top, and so it's been in here for maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours. I got a drip pan, and then I filled up some water down here. I was going to try that for a while. But again, that's not really what this video is about. This is a fantastic box. I love the Pitmaker safe, which is the one that I have. There's a vault that's a bigger one. But what you'll see down here, if you've seen one of these before, is that I have this flipped upside down. That's right, I flipped it upside down. What you can see, these rails right here, if you take this, you can see those lips right there. Normally this thing would flip, and you would put it in and fill the basket up. The problem that I ran into with that, and I've made some unbelievable briskets and barbecue in this thing, so not a knock on the engineering design or anything of this, but the problem that I would run into when I had that flipped up normal and would fill it up would be that when it would ash, or when it would kind of sort of break down, you never got a base. And that's this, it's hard to see in there, but if I turn the light off, and I can't turn it off when I have the video already recording, but before I started, I actually put a stick of mesquite down there, and I put some of these charcoal briquettes that are down there. There's some Kingsford Pro styles. I don't know what I've thrown the bag away and emptied them into another bag, so I can't remember what they're called, but I love those. They last a long time. They burn pretty hot. But I put some material up underneath to kind of help get a base started. And so now you can see that there's only, whatever that is, 3 inches or something like that for the coals to drop down, and it still keeps this nice base and keeps the fire going. The problem that I ran into with it when it was flipped over the other way was that the coals would come down and they would basically just immediately go out, because they're, whatever that is, 5 inches or something like that from the bottom where the base is. Actually, it's probably a little bit less than that when it's flipped over, but it just seems to work better this way. I don't know why. This is the second time I've done it. It works better specifically if you want a lower temp. I think all smokers kind of have some sort of an equilibrium, a place where they kind of seem to be happy. With this thing flipped over, the happy place seemed to be 275, 300. I like a little bit lower temperatures, and I would have to mess with it a lot. Even with the CyberQ, it just seemed like I was always kind of piddling around with it to get it to work at the right temperature. It just always seemed like it wanted to creep up. But I added these two little logs right here, these two little briquettes, about an hour ago. But this thing has just been screaming along for the better part of 2 hours. It stayed right at 200 degrees with the baffle closed on the side, letting the cyber cube pull the air in, and then you know, with the chimney up top almost all the way open. And you know, I feel like with this configuration, I can just very slowly add material, and this nice base is formed down below that keeps the heat coming and allows me to add some more material. You know, this safe is not one of those, it's not like a side stick, you know, like a offset where you put a bunch of material in it and you get this big raging fire going. If you do that in this box, you're going to be at 350 degrees inside, and you're going to be in the hurt locker unless you want to cook at 350 degrees, in which case this thing will do it amazingly well. If you want to cook a lot lower, you have to be a little bit, you have to, you know, do some finagling to try to get it to stay happy there. I know you can't really see up underneath there, but you can see that I put some other material down there, and it's getting this nice little base going. And so I can just kind of keep feeding material in, and I've got this nice base going below, and it's keeping a nice fire going. So anyway, I don't know if this will work for you, but I just thought I would try it. It's worked awesome for the last couple cooks that I've done, and for the low temperature stuff for me, this seems to work pretty well. Again, I put a stick, a little mesquite log, and then I put about 3 or 4 of these up underneath there to get it started. And I didn't actually even light that. I just I used some B&B chump lump charcoal and then a piece of oak up here, and that's actually what I got started. And then I just kind of let the embers, as they fell down to the bottom, get, you know, whatever was up underneath there lit up. And it's worked really, really well. So I feel like at this rate I can probably come out here and add, you know, a couple more of these or some more lump charcoal, or a couple, maybe another piece of oak that's not quite that big. But I feel like I've got a nice good base here that I can just kind of keep stuff going and know that I have, you know, some embers up underneath there that are keeping stuff going too. So I don't know, maybe it works for you, maybe it doesn't. I've had really, really good success with this over the past 2 cooks, keeping really, really low temperatures. And that's the other thing, and that's the reason why I showed you this. Don't get lulled into the temperature of your probe that's connected to one of your grates. Let you think that that's actually the ambient temperature. Get a gauge for the inside too. Maybe Pitmaker will watch this. This thing has been broken since about the 3rd time I cooked on it. I don't know what the deal is with it, but I've just figured out that it's about 80 degrees, you know, 70, 80 degrees off. So I just know it from there. And there's the, so I love this thing. Props to the Pitmaker folks. They've done a fantastic job with it. But I don't know, maybe that works for you, maybe not. If it does, let me know. Take care.